Today on Pastor JDO3, the podcast, we spend time talking to Goes Frazier, Senior Director of Learning and Development at Kaiser Aluminum. He achieved his bachelor's from Virginia Union University and a master's degree from the University of Richmond. He's the founder of Black Men Read, which has 987 members. And now, up goes Frazier.
But do you realize how stupid that was?
Yeah, it's stupid.
That was, when you look back at it now, it's like, wow, that was really irresponsible. I mean, the logic of why I did it, but now I'm like, golly, that was really, really irresponsible. That could have ended up really, really bad and taken out two young, promising leaders, you know?
Yeah.
Just trying to
family, right?
Yeah.
Your family would have been a lot different if you wouldn't have made it.
Wow.
I mean, same here. I got two boys, a wonderful wife, got a little girl, mentoring young people in the community. We have a ordained destiny, and would have been snuffed out because of, silly decisions. I mean, I think about all the things even at school. We didn't make the smartest of decisions. Somehow, some way, a little voice came in the head. Somewhere, maybe the ancestors pushing us one way and saying, "Don't do it, young man. Go the other way." And we just, by the grace, got through it. And I think that's what, that's another thing I attribute a lot of my success to. It's just not, just my personal intelligence and all that stuff. It's just along the way, I've had either feelings or thoughts, impressions, guidance, spiritual guidance, or someone who had it and they were guiding me. You think about it, just even in school. I mean, you probably had a teacher that was like, for some reason, this is my economics professor, but he preaching to me right now. Like, this is not normal. You had a counselor who's like, "Hey, you're in here because you're in trouble, but let's just talk. Johnny, what's up? What's going on? You're better than this. I know you can do this." Somebody preaching those words into you, moving you in a different direction. There's been people like that at every mile marker in my life. Still, to this day. I had a conversation today, and these two ladies, they own a Black-owned business, and they're like, "Oh, we should hook up because of Black Men Read. It's on my shirt." Turns out one of the ladies was a minister. And she said, "I wasn't going to say that I was a minister until you said something about, God ordaining your steps and helping you along the way and giving you grace. But since you did that, and now we're having this discussion around helping people in the community and praying over people and stuff like that. People are being implanted all around you. And they've been there all the time. And so I don't know if it was grandma's prayers, because it could have been. Grandma was a prayer. Mama and daddy's prayers. It could have been your wife's prayers, right? Help them along the way. So we never know, and I thank God that a lot of that stuff that could have happened never did, and that gives me charge to try to help the kids that have these things happening to them, to try to help them out so that they don't have the repercussions of some of the actions that could happen with them.
Well, I do know that the future, you're already living the brightness of the bright, but I do know that there are even greater things ahead. It wasn't a surprise to see you in the newspaper, to see you in television ads. That was just expected. Because you were special when you were at Union, watching the way you handle things. And I do know that there are going to be countless young people, men and young women, that talk about Mr. Frazier, or Brother D, you know what I'm saying?
I'm still not used to it, man.
Mr.
Guy,
Frazier. You remember that guy? Yeah. He was, and one of these days we'll see if we can get you to be a Houston Rockets fan.
That's not happening.
and
here's how you know, if I'm willing to ride through the New York Knicks of the 2000s, I'm in for the long haul.
I'm gonna ride or die.
They've been terrible.
Well, at the time, our Cowboys were riding high, but now we riding it. Well, it's like, oh Lord.
That's right. Look, trust me, I'm still a Giants fan, And I let all my cowboy friends know, like, look, bruh, that 1990s T-shirt y'all got, y'all need to. That last one, I mean, it's been a minute, sir.
It's faded. You can't even see what's super
you
about it.
can't even wash your car with it.
It's just a little strip
got too many
rag.
holes. They don't even absorb water anymore.
Nope.
Like,
Wow.
but this is, again, when we were talking about having that time where we can just sit and talk, this is it. This is what we miss. This is the decompression. This is the talking about the issues, talking about the fun, and just not, worrying about anything else. We did, for Black Men Read, we did a series called Dear Dad. And we had every black man come on. It was a written letter, and you wrote it to your dad. So your dad could have been in your life, could have been somebody that was absent, and somebody that was passed away. And so really, you're just saying the words that, again, we're going back to early conversation, that men don't say. And what happened from that conversation, one, we had some powerful letters. It's on YouTube if anyone wants to look at that.
Yeah,
but the thing that came, so if you go to YouTube and look up Black Men Read, it's our YouTube page, and we'll get you the link. What we did after that is what's the powerful part. Then now you have a man who didn't like talking about his feelings. He didn't like talking about what's hurting him or bothering him. Now having 2 or 3 guys that he trusts to be able to have that conversation. So as much as the letters were important, because that letter could have been written to a dad that had never heard that from his son. 2, now that father who said that to his father is saying that in front of everybody, including his son. So now his sons have seen him talk about that. I'll give you my personal example. My dad was not in my life 100%. When I left New York, which was in 89, that's probably one of the last times I saw him before I got married in 2000. And so we talked, and then we didn't have a relationship after that. I wrote this letter. I said, look, I really wish you were in my life. I'm not mad at you. You might have made a decision that said, hey, I can't be the man he needs me to be, and have left. I'm a good man. I feel like I'm okay, and I just want to say I love him. That was my letter in a nutshell. He saw that letter on Facebook and contacted me and said, I'm sorry. I love you. I always loved you. I've been trying to reach out, and find out he had been trying to reach out to me with my first wife, and she wasn't passing on the message. I'm not mad at my ex-wife. It's water under the bridge, right? But what if I had harbored enough hate for that man to not even write the letter, 1, but then 2, carrying around all that weight, that baggage, that I hate this man. Now, my sons, they're not going to see a good relationship between a father and his father. So they're not going to see how they should be treating me. They don't see that connection. So now they see, hey, even though things didn't go well, I'm not blaming anybody. My circumstance, I got a loving family beside me. I got men that have stepped in the gap. And now they're seeing me bringing that back together with my father, my actual birth father, and us trying to work it out. That's the stuff that happens when you actually start talking it out and communicating, connecting with people. And those brothers that I have, those are my brothers forever, because we share something. It might seem bad on the surface, but it was letting it out. And now we can say, when we go to dap each other, I love you, man.
Wow. That is awesome.
You know how often that happens? It's like, I love you, bro.
Yeah,
we do that. We do the No, it's literally, Johnny, I love you.
Yeah,
I love you like you're my brother, right? And you can say that now. It's not, I don't have to hide behind this shell of bravado.
Yeah, remember,
actually, I really do love you.
Right after we left school, that whole no homo thing came in. Yeah, like you said, no homo. Like, bro, It missed me with that.
And that ran for a long
Yeah,
time.
that ran.
Long.
Just like, this is so foolish. But I do, man, appreciate you being willing to spend this time, and I appreciate the excellence of you, and definitely challenging me to step up and to do some different things and to be better. And then also the responsibility of modeling some things, because I felt, wow, I'm going to say that, but there was definitely a responsibility. This is one of the things I talked to Corey Perkins about, is when you have people that you love that are following, that are younger than you feel a sense of responsibility, and you go through the things with them, you know, and when they fail, you feel like you failed. You understand what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
And so you feel like, man, I should have been there to have that conversation. I should have been there to provide wise counsel. And because I was not on my spot and doing what I was supposed to do, I feel responsible for the things that this person has experienced. You understand what I'm saying?
I do.
So,
I do.
yeah. And so we have to do a better job of just staying in contact with each other and being that outlet for each other to talk and to have those moments, you know what I'm saying, where we can be brothers, and then sometimes we can be big brother and little brother, and sometimes we can be
right.
you know, cousins or you know, or whatever. And just to be
right.
the thing that each one of us need in that moment, because it's different. What a great journey it was to be at the mighty, great Virginia Union University. So many lessons learned, so many great friendships formed, so much growth experience. I'd love to hear about your experience in college or in grad school. Tell us what you learned. Tell us what stuck out. Tell us what new thing that you incurred that helped you change your perspective about a specific group of people or a specific subject matter. I love to hear from you. Use the hashtag PastorJDO, 3, podcast, or use the hashtag PastorJDO, 3.